how to become a successful entrepreneur and business owner. Well, welcome back. Millions of people before you became successful. They became entrepreneurs, they became business owners, they became freelancers. That means you can do the same thing. If someone else can do it, for sure you can do it. Now, the United States is made up of people that came from all kinds of countries, all kinds of backgrounds. It's the place to be an entrepreneur. Why? Because it's the land of abundance, and anyone that wants to be successful, you're in the right place. So, when you're successful, you need to understand with success comes failure. And unfortunately, entrepreneurs and freelancers fall down quite a bit, and they realize they get in businesses they shouldn't have got into, and so they don't make any money and they start over again. So don't be afraid to pick yourself up and start all over again. Most entrepreneurs fail 2 or 3 or more times before they're successful. I always use the story of Henry Ford when he started the automobile company. So he realized that everybody didn't want those smelly horses all the time, that people would buy a mechanical device, a car. He realized that. But prior to having that success with the Ford Motor Company, he had already gone bankrupt twice. Twice he had lost all the investors' money. But he kept at it until he was successful. You can do the same thing. Now, my name is Ted Thomas. For the past 30 years, I've been involved in the subset of the regular real estate business. So traditional real estate is homes, residential lots, sometimes small office buildings, sometimes small farms, but it's mostly homes. All right, I'm in a subset of that business called tax liens and tax deeds. So it's not the traditional business, it's properties that ended up going to an auction because people didn't pay the taxes. Now, I'm going to show you on this video segment how you can be a successful entrepreneur and business owner in that business. You could make money buying these properties because they're discounted so much, and I'm going to tell you about it. If you're going to be an entrepreneur and a successful business person, you're going to have to be flexible, you're going to have to be adaptable, because everything is going to change. Every time you start something, it'll change right in the middle of it. The success not only will change you, but it's going to change the destination that you're headed for. So think about the business. Find out what that target market is and what problems do they need to solve. So first of all, if you're going to be a successful business person and owner, you have to be able to solve problems. Okay, regular business needs help. People that want to make money need help. So you have to help people. In order to help people, you have to solve their problems. All right, there's great wealth for entrepreneurs that can solve people's problems and do it quickly. Anybody that can do that can be an entrepreneurial success. All right, now anytime you're in business, there's consequences. Anytime you make an investment, there's consequences. So you need to prepare yourself. One of the things you need to prepare for is what's going to happen if you fail. Now, you don't want to go into business saying, I'm going to fail. You want to go in and say, you're going to win the football game. And that's what you want. You want to win. I get that. But what are you going to do if you fail? Well, you don't have to go out and take a bunch of pills and put a gun to your head. You just need to say, everything I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to try to get experienced people to help me, but there will be failure along the line. So let's begin with your skills. What are your skills? Have you already had a lot of training in a college? Like, have you gone and met with a lot of professors and ended up with a degree? Or are you a craft person? Maybe you're a carpenter, maybe you're a plumber, maybe you're a mechanic. Okay, there's all kinds of skills that people have. So most people will take that skill and become a freelancer. Now, a freelancer is a person that works now, but then they want to take time off. They want to go to the beach, or they want to go on their boat and do some fishing, whatever it is they want. All right, so freelancing is A-okay. All right, but there will be some failures. But the beauty of freelancing is you could work for a lot of different people. That's a good idea. Work for a lot of different people. You'll learn a lot. You'll get a lot of ideas. But most people that are entrepreneurs, they want to start out not as a freelancer. They want to start out right in business. So I'm going to tell you, it's a lot easier to be a freelancer than to be in business. Because once you're in business, you're going to have to keep producing things all the time. And if you're in the wrong one, then you got a problem. So I suggest you start out as a freelancer and then work your way into business. It takes years of practice to be really good at a business. All right, so you want to be an entrepreneur. But why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to do this? I mean, what is your actual goal? Is it because you want to be famous? Is it because you want to be rich? Is it because you just don't want a boss? Okay, everybody becomes an entrepreneur for a different reason. But just take your time. Successful entrepreneurs are aggressive on one side, but on the other side, they're just curious to find out a lot of different things. If you're curious, well, why not be a freelancer and start working in a lot of different businesses? Now, you'll have to promote yourself. You could use Fiverr. You already know how to do that, or Upwork, and let people know that you're available and promote yourself a little bit, and guess what would happen? You'd get a lot of different ideas from these different businesses. All right, now, according to the Small Business Administration, if 100 businesses start out, 80% of those businesses, according to the Small Business Administration, they will fail in the first 5 years. All right, so that means your chance of success is only 20%. 80% are going to fail. Now, if you ended up in that 20%, in the next 5 years, according to the small business, another 80% are going to fail. So what I'm really saying here is your chances of success might only be 6% because there's so much failure. All right, now I didn't make up the numbers. The federal government started the Small Business Administration to help people like you, to lend them money, to give them business advice. And you can go there and you can track down the numbers I'm talking about. The point is, there's a high chance that you're going to fail in this business. So the more research you do, the better you're going to be. The more people that you talk to that have experience and learn from that experience, the better off you're going to be. Now, I'm not negative on business plans, but I can tell you right now, I see lots of 50-page and 100-page plans, and when I read them, I can't find anything that shows me how they're going to bring in revenue, how they're going to market the business. All right, those are two big mistakes. How are you going to manage the cash? Do you know how to manage cash? Have you ever talked to an accountant? Have you ever talked to a chief financial officer? Probably a good thing to start to do. All right, so the decisions that you're going to make are going to be challenging. All right, and there's going to be a lot of them. That doesn't mean that you can't make them. If someone in front of you earlier in life than you did became a successful entrepreneur and business owner, well, you can do the same thing. And that's why you're on YouTube learning how. I can't project the trajectory of your business, but you can. But the decision you make is going to be up to you. All right, are you a leader? Are you decisive? Business is not for the timid. Failure is just a matter of testing. The more testing you do, the better you're going to be. Now, business plans are written by who? They're written by writers, authors, professors, teachers. Okay, they don't know what the real business is going to be like. They're writing about it, but they might not necessarily have ever been in a business. So realistically, who do you want to get advice from? You want to get your advice from people that have experience. Without serious experience, I would not use the advisor. Your friends are your friends. Your family is your family. You need a coach. You need a guide. You need a mentor. You need people that you're paying to give you good advice. You need to learn to stack the deck in your favor. And you do that by who your advisors are. You don't have all the ideas. All right, now from a personal standpoint, I've started many marketing projects and a lot more of them failed than was successful. That's just something written on a piece of paper. So that's not a big crisis. It's when you start spending money and you're spending other people's money, it's going to be a big change because people don't like to lose money. All right, so who are you going to talk to? You're going to talk to experienced business people. You got that. All right, now, figuring out a business is not difficult, but you need to be market driven. What does that mean? You need to be finding out what the market will buy from you. In other words, who will pay you for your problem-solving product? Who will pay you? If you can't generate revenue, you don't have a business. All right, so it could be painful to learn that kind of thing. If you can't get revenue, your business is going to fail. All right, so 30 years ago, I discovered a business that I was surprised, and it was all new to me. No one had ever explained it to me. The more I studied it, the more I liked it. And why did I like it? I liked it because I could buy it for pennies, and I could sell it for real dollars. It was manageable. It was simple, and there was tons of it. I didn't have to go find inventory. There was a ton of it. It was happening all the time. Nothing more than a subset of the regular real estate. So what did it include? It included homes, it included small office buildings, included residential lots, included small farms. All of these properties go to tax auctions. Why? Because the people don't pay the tax. And if they don't pay the tax, the legislature informs the county, and the county's looking at that and saying, all right, the Board of Supervisors will send the treasurer out and they'll issue a notice of default. And once they've done that, guess what's going to happen? They're going to confiscate, they're going to seize the property. Now the treasurer has the property, they don't want it, the county doesn't want it, they're going to sell it at auction. Now, this is not a glamorous business. It's not pretty, there's no prestige involved. I simply buy low and then I sell at a profit. I buy low because they're selling these properties for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar, and this is happening in 3,000 counties across the United States. So in 3,000 counties, they'll have at least 5,000 auctions. I can go to any auction, and what am I doing? I'm buying for pennies on the dollar. The county is going to wipe out the mortgage. In other words, they're going to delete the mortgage or the deed of trust loan, and now I'm buying for pennies, and I have no mortgage on the property. Anybody can get in this business. Anybody can go to the auction. All that's required is some money to pay for the property. So let me do a quick review. The county is seizing the property. They don't want it. So what are they going to do? They're going to sell it for 60, 70, 80% discounts. That means you're going to buy the property without a mortgage or a deed of trust for 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar, and then you can sell it to anybody that you want to sell it to any price you want. Now, will these all be pristine, brand new property? No, they're not going to be that. They're going to be slightly used and abused. Some of them are going to be junk. Don't buy the junk. Okay. Other ones are going to be clean it up and move into it, whatever you want. You can move into it. You can sell it. It's your property. You can do as you want. All right. So the price you pay at auction is going to be 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. That doesn't mean that the property still doesn't have a high value. So you can sell it anywhere up to that high value that you want, and you can keep all that property. So what are we covering today? We're covering how to become a successful entrepreneur and business owner. You do that by studying other business, look on the internet, look at other businesses, work as a freelancer, figure out what business you want to be, and then you can be successful as a business owner, a freelancer, or an entrepreneur.